Welcome back, everybody, to Around the Bloxxx with Mike Knoxxx and Chris Platt show. And today we are joined by no other than our special co-host. Y'all know him better as Dice Man Holla, but I just know him as Dice Man. What's going on, Dice?
What up? What up? Today I'll be representing the Gizmo Squad.
Just showing off the hat again like they always do. But it's always
my brand up.
Mike Knoxxx, you know where to follow me at by my namesake. You already know Bell Kings is the plateau and the station as well. The digital identification is Fox Sports. And as always, BDSIR Network is bringing it to you live and in living color. Sponsored and partnered with thechairshot.com. Hashtag use your head. What's going on, Chris? How's your week been, brother?
Greetings and salutations, Mike. Greetings and salutations, Dice. Greetings and salutations, everybody out there in Podland or YouTube world. It's a pleasure to be back here. I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday weekend. And this weekend was actually big for me, Mike. I officially announced my candidacy for president of the United States of America.
One of
you
many.
And Kanye West. You and Kanye West.
Yes. That's
Tiffany
right.
Haddish, too. She said she's running. She got Dave Chappelle as her running mate.
Oh,
That's
right.
right.
So when is The Rock going to jump into the race? Because he's like the only legitimate one that has a chance here.
Well, besides me, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Chris, I love you, but I don't know if I would vote for you, brother. What lanes do you stand on? Is what I have to ask you.
Hashtag MAG. Make America
I'm not debating
great.
nobody running for president that look like The Rock. I'm not. No. Absolutely not.
What's wrong with The Rock being president? That smile will get all the girls and the babies.
Yeah, the smile will get all the girls, but if you insult his thoughts in a presidential debate like Hillary Clinton and Trump was doing, yeah, he might come across that podium on your ass.
And you know you're going to cuss you out because The Rock's a cusser, okay? You some bitch! You knew that was coming. But today, guys and guys out there listening, thank you again for tuning in. We have another big plethora, if you will, so to speak, of a show. That's my word now. Okay, my smorgasbord, my all-you-can-eat wrestling talk, and we're going to bring that to you. We're talking about NXT's Great American Bash, AEW Fyter Fest. One wasn't a bash, and one I could have rested on. But that's okay, because we're going to have this block party today and bring you to some of the greatest athletes in wrestling history, mix and match who they are, and put them together in a match, because frankly, I think that's the best thing to talk about all week in wrestling, unless they can make up for Great American Bash Night 2, and they can make up for Fyter Fest Part 2 this week also. We're talking about them all that and dim sum. So, Chris, last week, we talked about ending the show, beginning the show, and talked about this Great American Bash, which ideally right now on the Knoxxx 8000, I'm watching Great American Bash 95, the Diamond Dallas Page Arm Wrestling Challenge for a date with the Diamond Dog Kimberly and upgraded Miss Elizabeth against David Sullivan, him and his support dog. See, X-Pac, it wasn't the first one with that gimmick. Dave Sullivan was. But with all that seriousness out of the way, this was the Great American Bash. And I was excited for the Great American Bash because that's just me when it comes to wrestling and the WWE. I just get hyped for all reasons that I don't understand why, and then I get let down. And the only thing about the Great American Bash was great. Well, that's not true. There was two things. That was Sasha Banks' entrance, because I'm all for the hashtag Banks 3 belts. And at one point on SmackDown this past week, she had 3 belts on. I couldn't get the snap like I wanted. I'm going to find that picture and send it to you there, Chris. But also, Keith Lee is going to go for this week, can he become the undisputed champion of NXT and the North American champion, Chris? A lot happened last week. Where you want to start at? NXT? Where are we going to start up and down the card there?
Yeah, well, let's start right at the top, because that's the biggest news. The main event of the evening, Mrs. 3 Belts Banks, or Banks 3 Belts, against Ai Sharona, a.k.a. Io Shirai. Outstanding television main event. They gave him limited. I don't even think there was a commercial during the main event, but these two ladies, they had a fantastic match, and it felt like a big deal. With all due respect to Charlotte Flair, when she fought Io,
I'm sorry,
it didn't seem.
I'm sorry.
With all due respect.
To who?
Oh, go ahead. Do you think?
To the greatest women's wrestler.
He does this, Dice.
Of all time, Charlotte Flair. Don't you dare address her wrong like that ever again.
Again. But no, it lived up to the hype. I was surprised that it had a clean finish. I thought they would do some sort of smodge to set up a tag match this week on part 2 of the Great American Bash. But we still got time. We still got Raw Monday night, so we'll see what happens. I still think we'll get that. We'll get Asuka and Io Shirai versus Bayley and Banks. But yeah, it was a great main event, lived up to the hype, and it was the sole reason that NXT actually won the week this week.
Are we sure about that? Because Mr. El Champion said, "It's stupid idiots." He literally, seriously, somebody.
I know, I saw.
You saw it, right? And Jericho retweeted and showed like how the numbers work and said, "Not really." So that's why I don't remember. They're all close. So as far as I'm concerned, nobody's winning. They're literally damn near identical every week. They're what, a couple thousand off, sway or nay, 20, 30,000. That to me is not pushing the needle over anybody. Dyce, you want to chomp in on that?
Yeah, well, the tweet was that Sasha and Bayley's their segments were higher than Jericho's and Orange Cassidy's.
Yes.
But then Jericho said, for the actual whole night, they still were behind. Mm-hmm. But if Sasha and Bayley's segments are your highest rated segments, you probably got a problem. That's not discrediting them, but that means everybody else needs to step up their game. Because we know what Jericho does. He's a mastermind.
I like that you say that. I like that
those two girls, those two women. They say that there's a big hole in the women's division. I don't think it is. I think they are filling it out very nicely, and it's their time.
Mm-hmm. This is exactly where Sasha should be. I've been saying it since she came up, man. She had the potential to be their female equivalent of The Rock. She has that type of crossover appeal. You can put her on Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest. Then she can go do Wendy Williams. Then you can have her at the BET Awards. Then she can walk the red carpet at the ESPYs. Like she's got that type of appeal. Yeah. And there was a hold opening with Becky leaving the company, with Miss Flair taking some time off, the greatest female wrestler of all time, according to Mike Knoxxx, taking some time off. There was a void to fill, plus the extenuating circumstances that we find ourselves in now. Their roster is depleted, so they need people that they can spread across the whole WWE universe. She was on NXT, she's on Raw, she'll be on SmackDown. I like this, that they're finally forced to put her where I thought she belonged anyway. And the numbers are backing up what I'm saying.
Blind tag with that, and you finish on that note. And I'll tell you this, and I want to go back because for 2-3 years now, Dyce, you've heard me quietly say and actually, lay the Easter egg for saying what Jericho said, and I was looked at as I was wrong when I was saying that. I've been saying that for years, that when these women are your top draws, there's a problem in your company. And that was no disrespect towards these women doing what these women are doing, but being old-fashioned, I don't know what to call it, Dyce. Who I am is who I am, and that's all I can be, okay? But I like tradition. And nothing against Charlotte, greatest women's wrestler of all time, should be the co-main event. I don't think that they should. If you are the better of the person, yes, you should main event. I will say that. I will start. I don't care what you are. If you're the best and you're pulling the numbers, then you should get it. But that means, fellas, why are these women getting better numbers than you? And I don't blame them. I don't blame the writing. I blame the fans. The fans gave these women a chance, but they're not giving male talent the same exact chance. They will let all their storylines play out. They let everything happen because they had that leg up. It's the same thing like when it comes to AEW. We'll talk about Fyre Fest in a second. It's that you heard us so much, WWE, we don't care what you have to say, right? And everything else we're going to like above you. Women haven't ever had anything in WWE. So now they're getting it, and everybody's just loving it. I don't think that everything that's below them doesn't get the respect and garner the attention that the women also get on that note, Chris.
I agree with what you're saying, but also the women are just better. They're just better. Their storylines are better. Their matches are better. Like and a lot of women,
I would beg to differ on some of that.
But a lot of these women during this pandemic has taken an opportunity to really step their game up and show their wares, show what they can do. What
Becky and hey, we want some Bayley is doing is the best on television. And that's a shame. I think you said that last week. It's literally the best show I see on TV every week, how these girls are putting it together.
Now, this is the show for the intelligent wrestling fan. So let's keep it two Virgils here. Mm-hmm. The average WWE audience member is 50, whatever. They're in their 50s. That's not a sustainable business model. Any good drug dealer will tell you the business is in the comeback. Now, they hooked us young. Say that again.
I need to show me those numbers.
Okay, fair. We'll find them after the show. But that's what they're saying. Now, but the problem is they got us when we were young. Mm-hmm. And we probably fell off every now and again because that's what you do, but we're still here. We're still fans. The young people, they don't care about wrestling. The young people, they may know John Cena. They might know Roman Reigns, but that's a big probably not. Like, they're just not tracking them. So my thing is, again, this is the show for the intelligent wrestling fan. You need to steer into the skid of the women's revolution and market the product geared more towards young girls. They can see people that look like them on TV. They can be role models. And then once they hit puberty, they'll have some crushes on Roman Reigns or, whomever, and they'll keep watching and maybe convert them. You'll be able to convert them into lifelong fans, similar to what they did with us. And I thought the best way to do that was to build around the greatest female wrestler of all time, according to Mike, and
Charlotte Flair. Sorry.
Like right there, you got your Hogan and you got your Piper. So now you got your tent poles and fill everything else in.
You're supposed to say vacant. Good God. Have I not taught you anything? What else happened? Well, so after that main event and she moves on, what opened up the show was the #1 contender match, though. How'd you feel about that match, Chris?
They tried hard. All
and I'm sorry,
Megan tried hard.
Keegan Knox, Candice LeRae, and Dakota Kai, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, they all tried hard. It just came across a little clunky to me, and frankly, I thought the wrong woman won. I guess they're trying to give Tegan a shot here.
I told you it was going to win, right?
Well,
what's her last name? What's her name?
Melon Farmer. You should, that's exactly what he said too, Dice.
Her name is Knox. Who else would I be going for? You know what I mean? Sorry. Although, we talked about this last week as well, and Dice is a big Natty fan, so I want to get his opinion on this. I compared Mia Yim to the Natalya of the NXT division, meaning she's that girl that can do everything with everybody, but that's what she's there for, more than to be champion. Do you think that's a good or bad thing, or do you agree or disagree with that reference as well?
That's kind of hard. I mean, like at least on the independent circuit, Mia Yim's got some credibility, right?
Absolutely.
But what have you done for me lately? She hasn't really done anything.
But when I say the Natty comparison, it's the trusted. Remember the blue pants thing? It's the woman that you can trust to go out there to put on a show, put on a good wrestling match, and do those kind of things. Not necessarily her mass appeal and what she deserves as far as championship expirations are concerned.
I think if they will put a little bit more resources into her, she could be much bigger than what she is. Sort of like Natty. It looks like now they're kind of opening up this new layer to Natty, and they're kind of bringing on like this passive aggressive heel with Lana, and I kind of like it. Like it's a really slow burn, but I think I like where it's gonna go, or the potential that it could. And if they can add another layer to Mia Yim, like she's right there. I feel like she's like at that next level she could be called up within a year if she has constant good work. And I can't say I've seen a bad match from her, even though I'm like a big fan of hers. But like I think she's that next step. But like she might be one of those veterans that don't want to get called up. Like, they just like she's like 38 or something like that, I believe. I don't know. She's mid-30s, so she might not want to get called up at this point.
I always say that if you don't make it to the big stage, you ain't make it nowhere. And in this business, that's just me. There's nothing against anybody. I think if you're a professional wrestler, like you said, Chris, the average fan, right? 45, 50 years old. I'm 40. I'll be 45 next month. You know what I mean? Like those guys, if you watch that, and even if you're in your 25, 30-year-old range, you want to make it to WrestleMania. That's the ultimate payday. You know what I mean? That was made it such a big deal when those guys got their matches cut. Remember those years ago? Oh, those they got. They just no. Vince won't. The one thing he doesn't understand is let them make it that far if it can fit into the programming. But what else happened on the Great American Bash?
I want to send a special shout out to Timothy Thatcher and Orny Lorcan. I know I messed up his name something terrible. My bad, bro.
It's Oni.
Oh, okay. Is it Oni? Is it Ornery? Is he Oni and Ornery?
I don't know. That's just
Oni Ornery.
I'm not. I don't know if he's Ornery or not. That's too much information.
So Orny versus Timothy Thatcher. This was a damn good match, and I've always been a fan of that British mat-based wrestling style. You know what I mean? I love the Lord Steven Regals and of the like. And it stands out even more today because so many of the matches resemble each other. So many of the matches start to blend together and they do the same thing. They do the same spots. So something like this, it makes it stand out even more.
Listen, I told you last week was something about this Timothy Thatcher guy that I liked. And I'm glad you brought up the reference of the Britishness. And what I get from this, I've never but respected Dean Malenko. This guy's a new Dean Malenko. Okay, if you watch this man wrestle, he will put a hold on you from anywhere. Okay, he's so really good at this mat-based wrestling. He's someone that needs to be brought up to SmackDown to go against the Daniel Bryans and the AJ Styles and whoever can go in that ring very well. Can Orton have a legend killer, protege? This guy's that guy. I think he's that damn good in the squared circle. And I thought that match, for what it was pretty good. I thought the women's match for what it was pretty good as well. Dice, your takes on Honorary Oni Larkin and Timothy Thatcher. I said it. Boom.
I think the Dean Malenko comparison or the reincarnation is a pretty good assumption. It's a good evaluation of it. Dean Malenko, man, like I think he's one of the top 5 greatest technical small guys.
Absolutely. He didn't have no personality.
He had no personality at all. Like he just looked like he didn't have a personality. Yeah. Like he looked like if he was taking a woman out on a first date, they're just sitting there talking about how good the lemon is in the water. Like it's boring.
It'd be like this.
Yeah. Especially in these days of time, there's no conversation. There's no conversation at all. But there's stories about how good Dean was, and he didn't talk much backstage. But once you picked his brain and asked him things, he was able to be an open book. And in that ring, he was that as well. And I think the comparison to him, and how technical he is, and how just how masterful the moves are, how calculated everything is. I think that's a good. I think that's a pretty good.
That means a lot to me. Every time I go back and I talk, the Barry Windhams, the Randy Ortons, the Ronnie Garvins, the beautiful Bobby Eatons, the Macho Mans. Like you gotta have, for me. We all have what we like. You know what I mean? Like our boy, shout out to Scotty Diggs, who likes lucha guys and big guys. You know what I mean? So he turned me on to Luchasaurus. You know what I mean? We all like what my son loves the Big Show. Who the fuck loves the Big Show? Okay, my son does. Okay, so like we like what we like, and I love things that that pay
attention. The giant.
Just pay attention. Like if you hit somebody on the left arm, then that's the arm you're supposed to work on. Not work on the left arm and then switch to the right. I just hate that in wrestling. It's such a pet peeve of mine. That's not even a botch. That's you not paying attention to your craft. You know what I mean? That's like a good. That's like Jay-Z not being able to drop a hook. Like, come on. What's next in the card there?
The delicious Rhea Ripley in a handicap match defeated both Robert Stone and Aaliyah, which it was some gaga, it was some fluff, it was something for Rhea to do. It was what it was.
Name like that. Like I thought you disrespected my Charlotte Flair. You just disrespected your Rhea Ripley.
I called her delicious once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got it in there. Okay. No need to be redundant.
Is Amber close by or something?
Listen and learn, sir. No need to be redundant.
Okay. Stone cold to you. Okay.
Last but not least, last and least. Dexter Lumis defeated Roddy Strong in a strap match, which they could have kept this off the card. They did it. They could have. Yeah,
it was pretty bad. Yeah,
it was very. Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
So your take. Give me your. We do belt grades, and I start off. My belt grade for the Great American Bash, honestly, was probably about. And I'm being honest, and this is taking nothing from Sasha three belts Banks. Okay, Sasha 3 belts Banks. Try to say that 3 times fast. I ain't gonna try it again. Okay, but I gotta give it 2 out of 5 24/7 championships. Despite you give me, first of all, and y'all know me. I always tell you, I will like anything they give me until I see it, right? And then from there, you say if it's shitty or not. I was hyped last week for the Great American Bash because it's called the Great American Bash. No, it's not what I'm watching on my TV to my left of me. Okay, but it's called the Great American Bash. They bought it. Show me a show. It's on free TV because what's going on in America, and it's the weekend for people who like to celebrate the 4th of July. Come on, I'm all here for this. And you give me that? Again, I need more than just good wrestling in the ring from something called the Great American Bash. The name itself shouldn't be disrespected to the point that you don't give me a production. Yes, you gave me a stage, and I was very impressed by the stage. I love Sasha Banks coming out in the car and in the Corvette, her and Bayley. I loved it, but it wasn't enough pageantry. And again, how can there be pageantry when the company has NXT, don't have all your greatest people there to have the pageantry on? Your best of the best of NXTs, not even all there. So I just think from night one of Great American Bash, it's getting 2 out of 5 24/7 championships to me. And guess what, guys? I'm even going to be a little bit more disrespectful. I'm not even going to give it the GOAT of the 24/7 championship to the 2 out of 5. I'm going to give it the Gronk 2 out of 5 24/7 championship title reigns. That was just a very bad TV production, in my opinion, there, Chris.
Well, you know what they're going to say is the reason they didn't have the pomp and circumstances. They're going to say, didn't you see all those people that we cut a few months ago? We ain't got it. We ain't got it. That's what they're going to tell you.
What happened to your cinematic universe then? Give me something to stand out, okay? Give me something to stand out. Yes, the women, but nothing. And every time I rate a show, guys, and people who listen in town, listen, this is not against you. I don't blame you for the show. I blame the companies for the show. I blame you for a match, which I haven't given any match other than one that shouldn't have happened, a bad grade. Okay, the matches what the matches are. But when I look at a pay-per-view or a television event like the Great American Bash or Night of Champions or Clash of the Champions, what they should bring back. Hell, don't touch that, 'cause you might fuck that up too right now. Okay, so yeah, 2 out of 5 24/7 championships held by Gronkowski.
I actually agree with your rating. I'm going to go 2 out of 5 24/7, but I'm going to go truth just because that's how much I enjoyed the main event. As far as I'm concerned, this was a one match card, and I mean, again, let's keep it 3 Virgils this time, $150. The only reason this show was dubbed the Great American Bash was to go at Fyter Fest. It was counter programming at its best. This wasn't something that was long thought out and drawn out and said, okay, we're going to do this here. They just kind of threw some stuff together. That's the only reason that they threw Great American Bash on. Other than that, this was just another episode of NXT. And Sasha had a car and a red, white, and blue bikini. That's it. But I did enjoy that main event. I thought it delivered. It felt like a big deal. And I'd like to see those ladies go back at it again.
So you trying to make me give it a 3, but I'm not. Hey, Dice Man, what's your belt grade for this pay-per-view or this TV event?
I'm giving it 2 hardcore championships.
You know how much I hate that belt too.
The old school
trash,
hardcore, yeah, because that shit was copy paste taped together, and it was pretty bad. It was like outside of like 2 matches,
yeah,
maybe 2.5,
yeah,
and it wasn't warranted anything else. And now we have to have a part 2.
Well, see, that's where I think they deliver, though. In fairness, I see what I'm doing. See what I'm doing, right? You see what I'm doing? Like, I'm such a wrestling mark. No excellence here. No pun intended to my boys on the wrestling marks of excellence. What's going on, nephew Corey, Dr. D, Champ Creed, and the fellas? What do you want me to do? It's a black man can he unify a title off a guy who I love, okay, and Adam Cole, baby, but he's had the belt for 400 days, okay, against a guy who I think should be up on the next level, and you cannot make me believe it. Adam Cole, I don't care if they come out there or not. Them 4 dudes can't beat him. If they're scared of old boy, you better be scared of the limited Keith Lee. And so for no reason other than Keith Lee better be whatever the hell you want to call that shit, Keith 2 belts or limited, whatever you want to add on to the moniker. I don't give 2 shits. I'm hyped for that reason only. I'll probably get let down again like next week. You'll tell me like I was a piece of shit. But as of right now, let's go night 2.
They're probably gonna do like some sort of symbolism. And like everybody from Undisputed Era is gonna come out in some form of way, and it's gonna be like, me and my people have been held down for too long, obstacle after obstacle after obstacle.
They've been saying that for 4 years now. That they were the ones that forgot. I get that. I listen. I love the Undisputed Era, all but my boy Fish. You know that we've had that conversation. I'm with everybody else in there.
Bobby Fish like 45. He need to stop, man.
This mustache. I'm sorry. Okay, but since we're there, you got the night 2 card up, Chris. Let's just go ahead and get out of the way before we get into AEW and talk about something that may make us feel a little bit better.
I don't know if there is a night 2 card. Again, man, like Dice said, they're copy and pasting this shit as they go along.
Well, we know one card match, and we're going to talk about that, and we'll move on right here and right there then, okay? Forget it. F the card. Fuck it. They don't deserve to have a talk about the rest of their card of that piece of shit show they gave us last Wednesday. And I said that, WWE, and if you're watching, I never say that. Well, that's not true. But it's very seldom I say you put a piece of shit show on. You put a piece of shit show on, and you know it. But I'm going to say it right now. I think Keith Lee wins. Am I a stupid wrestling fan, Dice Man? Okay. Or does that make me a stupid wrestling fan to feel that way? Because I also think in what's going on, hell, fuck it, throw me a curveball. I don't give a shit. I take it.
No, I think you're getting you got the Kofi Kingston syndrome right
Damn
now.
right, Black Lives Matter, baby.
I think that's what it's boiling down to. So I mean, like, if we're gonna get it. That's the only thing that's going to set this pay-per-view.
If he wins, can I get that hat?
Your head too big for this, man.
Well, damn it, man.
And it's a strap back, though.
I know. I got strap backs. I got polos and everything, bro. Don't disrespect my.
I get you 1 cent.
$7.25.
I get you 1 cent to your GameStop. I got two of them, but one of them's my good hat. One of them's my dirty hat. So I wear the dirty hat around the house.
My GameStop. I need that thing in my life. I'm sorry. It's a dope hat. It has Gizmo playing on a freaking Casio. Forget your cats riding bikes. That's Gizmo. But you don't think he wins, though, is what you're basically getting at.
I don't think that he wins. Not if he's going to win, that's the only thing that will make this. It's the only thing that'll salvage this copy paste, super glue, gorilla glue wannabe pay-per-view together and make it actually worth something. But I don't see it happening. I'd be very surprised if it does happen, but I just don't see it. I think Cole's run is just too strong. It's just too strong.
Has it not been too long though? That's the part that I want us to try to. It has nothing against him. I love Adam Cole. I just
was CM Punk's
what presidents are you
long?
setting? And I've already said this, that he's the greatest NXT champion of all time. I've said that. Who he's beaten, how he's beaten them, how long he's held on to the title. He's their greatest champion of all time. You may not be your favorite, but he's the best NXT champion of all time because the record books say so. Right? It's was
CM Punk's reign?
No, it was 300 and something days, like 385.
No, but was it warranted to go that long?
I think it was. And I think, no, see, that's some other thing was, I agree with it. I don't think no one until now, other than me liking the guy, that we don't say his name because Dream is over, right? Other than that match or him in that kind of picture, I've been okay with it. Even against Finn Balor, because Finn doesn't, not that Finn doesn't deserve it, but Finn doesn't have to have it to elevate NXT. Him having that title elevates Adam Cole. And we talk about this on Bell Kings, but you can find that episode tomorrow, U.S. title part 2. Which U.S. title we going to use? We talked about the original one. Now we're going to talk about one of these on my wall back here. Is it going to be the spinner or is it going to be the one that the Guerrero brought back in? But tune in for that tomorrow. Click the podcast below. But other than that, what else I need to talk about?
Well, that's the thing. And I think I love Adam Cole. I love Undisputed Era, but I think that his title reign has ran his course.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, what else is there for him to do on this brand? And I don't know if you call him up. You probably don't call him up because you don't have any other hot heels. Like, you need some heels to get over these baby faces. And Keith Lee is a guy that, frankly, to be punny, he has limitless potential. He's one of these guys that has that mainstream appeal, that can cross over and be a big deal. And yeah, I just, the fact that there's just so many little guys on NXT, I don't want to see him losing to any little guys. I don't care if you got 15 of them out there to try to stop him. It's a bad look. Let him run. Yeah, let him run roughshod with both the belts on NXT until you feel like Karrion Kross is ready, because clearly they're grooming him for that spot.
And we talked about that. Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please go.
No, because when you brought that up before, and I said, okay, I get all that. I understand all that. But we talked about, and we just spoke about Jericho's tweet and his response, right? About guys stepping up. And I said, following that is that it's not, I blame somewhat on the fans, but some of it is the company, right? Mm-hmm. You fucked up Roman for whatever reason you did. I don't think necessarily, I think the fans kind of headed that with the Undertaker kind of thing. Is bad booking, I guess, is what we call it. But you want to book Keith, right? You've already done it. Having him in the Royal Rumble and having what he did with Brock Lesnar, and Brock even give him that rub that we talked about universally, Okay, wow, you see Brock like, oh, that's a big boy, and how Brock don't let nobody do moves on him. Let's be real here. Keith got over with Brock. How can you have that happen, knowing what Brock has done to everybody, including the first ever black champion Kofi Kingston, that he lost his fucking title in less than 30 seconds without putting on a damn move? He could at least call a couple in paradise or something. Okay, so no, I love Adam Cole, baby, but the time is up, the storyline is up, and you got to build a star. And if they don't do this, this can be detrimental. We also talk about guys like a Dolph Ziggler, like a Christian. You insert whatever wrestler you want to name. They push to the limit. Bray Wyatt, but don't get over. Rusev, but don't get over. You push them, then fuck them. If Keith loses his match, I think it fucks him.
You know what it is, though, Mike. WWE made a decision a long time ago that they were going to set up their business model like the NFL, where the NBA is player-driven, Major League Baseball and hockey are team-driven. They decided they were going to be like the NFL. It doesn't matter who's in the jerseys or who's in the ring. You're going to tune in, not for one individual, but for the Shield, for the brand.
But the Shield didn't get behind him. Get behind him like you should get behind Bobby Lashley. Get behind him like you get behind Drew McIntyre. Get behind him like you get behind King Corbin. Get behind him like you get behind, for whatever reason, he's off the map now, but you were very high on Elias. Right?
You have hurt. He's hurt.
Oh, he's hurt. Okay, well.
Yeah, they wrote him off with that
off the stage
thing.
Oh, the car accident thing? Okay,
yeah.
So I wasn't having him in the dupe of the dirt. But this is your time. And I think this is the time. And I got some of the card. We're not even going to talk about it because I don't think it's worthy of a 6-man cruiserweight match or 6-man tag match, right? With Maverick and Breezango versus Phantasm. You got Gargano versus Scott. You got a match with Mia Yim and a Street Fighter versus Candice LeRae. And then you got Knoxxx versus Shirai, and then Cole versus Lee. So they took those 4 and brought them in a single match. So yeah, copied and paste that right there. So the only thing worth watching would be Limitless Keith Lee, winner takes all belts. But moving on to AEW, because they also put on a show, and this is what their second, I believe, Fyre Fest. Last one was last year. That took place in Daytona Beach, Florida. Here's their base offices in Florida, outside of or in Jacksonville, but Daytona's not too far from there. They put on Fyre Fest, and I have to keep the same energy, to be honest with you guys. Fyre Rest, because I watched it. I watched them both, and I went back and watched them both for the ones that I thought I missed, and neither one kept my attention long. Give me the rundown of the card before we talk about it there, Chris.
Okay, so we had Jurassic Express, which is Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus MJF and Wardlow. Of course, Luchasaurus and them pulled that one out. Bad Boy Joey Janela.
We were shocked by that because we thought MJF alone would win that, but it looks like they're picking up MJF and Wardlow.
We did. So we had the Bad Boy Joey Janela and the Murder Hawk Monster Lance Archer. Oh, they just did some shit. Penelope Ford and Akira, which Akira, I always screw up this young woman's name, and I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I really do, dear. If you ever hear this, please blame the brain, not the heart, okay? She defeated Penelope Ford, which, quite frankly, it was a better match than I anticipated. Penelope's actually very athletic, and they put on a decent match. It was what it was. What else did we have here? The TNT Championship, the American Nightmare Cody defeated Jake Hager.
Listen.
And in our main event,
we
had the Best Friends lose their tag title opportunity against Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Oh, and Private Party lost to Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. Well, you know what? I hate, I know it's bad podcasting when we agree. I mean, you see the level of my enthusiasm just reading that off. And I know it's not necessarily good podcasting when we agree all the time, but I mean, yeah, just like NXT, this card didn't get me moist either. Well, and the one thing I wanted to ask though, man, I question not headlighting with your biggest babyface, Cody. And putting that tag title match up against Sasha Banks versus Aisha Rona. I don't know about that. That just seems like somebody messed up. Somebody fucked up the church's money on that one.
Whoa, I like that reference. That's one of the I would say this much, to just go through it in my point real fast and then get Dyson in with his. MJF and Wardlow, that one shocked me because we talked about that. I thought Jurassic World earlier would win that match. Remember, I thought they would win that, and you clearly pointed out where MJF was in the match. Okay, I don't like Wardlow, period. His name is stupid. He got it from True Blood, okay? MJF doesn't need to have a bodyguard that's that doofus and can't go in the ring. That's just me, okay? Private Party and Santana. I paid attention to this match more because we talked about it on the show, about you comparing them to the Hardy Boys and how you used to have Michael P.S. Hayes in the beginning, you know what I'm saying, with the Hardy Boys. This could be like Jeff Hardy mentoring Private Party in that way and how they come off. So I kind of liked that iteration of them. But I will go with you when you say with this, Penelope Ford definitely shocked me in that match and how she could do a match. She won me over to look at her again. But that match placement of not having that, what we talked about last week, what we thought was the best of Dynamite that week was the press conference for this TNT Championship. And the match, you know, it's Cody and Jake. Okay, it was a hard hitting match, right? Shout out to Cody's new T-shirt. I love the American Nightmare, same exact sign as the American Dream. I love it. Just says Nightmare. I need that shirt in my life. But to not have this be the main event, and I get it, maybe because Omega and Paige are bigger stars than Cody. You know, on the bigger scheme of wrestling, who are watching AEW. So maybe that's why they put them there. But I thought for the level of the championships and how they were going into the matches, it definitely should have been Jake and Cody on last in that retrospect. Your thoughts on that one as well, Dice?
First of all, Wardlow, whatever his name, he's terrible. He's got to fucking go. He's got to fucking go. Like, you think about big doofus type guys that, you know, were brought in with smaller heels or – like, you know, you had Tomko with Christian. Tomko was fucking great. Like, Tomko was good. He was good. He for a sidekick type guy, he was pretty good.
His look was better too.
Yeah, wasn't Test brought in? He was a sidekick guy too, right?
No, Test
I know how you feel about Test though.
No, yeah.
That TNA. Well, he was brought in with Albert, so no, that don't count. But yeah, like you want that big. Like he just looks like he's uneasy in the ring. Like. He's got like that awkward body shape, like Rhino. Like just the way he moves in the ring, it looks like he's counting steps. So
yeah,
I don't think that they're going to keep him with MJF much longer. I thought the Cody match. I think the Cody match I thought it went the way it's supposed to be. Like they're not done. Those two are not done.
I agree with that.
I don't think they're done at all, especially with the way that the match ended and with the whole body language between. Jake Hager and who else ran down to the ring? Not just the refs, but it was like somebody higher. It was like a legend came down the ring and just looked at him. And the way he looked at him, you could tell like something else is going to happen with that. And I believe that if Cody's going to drop it,
Arn was there. It was somebody else though. Somebody else did come out because they the group came out to help Jake.
Yeah.
Right. And
so
then
I think if Cody's going to drop it,
apron.
He's going to drop it to somebody like Jake Hager or, you know, one of these up and coming people that have a really strong buzz. But I don't think there's anybody outside of Jake Hager right now that looks as strong and convincing to defeat Cody, because Cody's doing some really good stuff in the ring.
I don't think Cody, we were talking about this last week too. Cody shouldn't lose the belt anytime soon. He's the new champion. He's for what it's worth, he's the WWE portion side of the fan base. You know what I'm saying? The people that he's known on this side of this side of the streets, if you will, so to speak. No pun intended. But you got to go with Cody in this match, and so is Jake for that matter, and so is a lot of guys that are getting over. But like I said, night one in Fyter Fest, to me, it was just there. I felt like both of these shows were just regular NXT and regular Dynamite, and I think if they were just been regular Dynamite and NXT, I would have graded them better. I think because of the hype for them, because of the storylines going into them, and then having none of that actually equated to television for me, I was a little disappointed in that night of wrestling that I took off. That's my Bay night. First of all, I don't even use the word Bay, and I use that because of my wife. Every Wednesday, back when we had Ratchet TV come on, I'm like, damn, baby, I got Great American Bash, I got Fyter Fest. Yo, can we do that tomorrow? She said, all right. And I took off for that shit, and then had double rep on Thursday in the pit, and I missed it. I wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy with that.
Even with Jericho's commentary?
That was the best part about it.
It's always the best. That will turn any show around for me. I don't care how bad the work is. Like, you just got to listen to Jericho because he says some off the wall shit, man.
That's what he's there for.
That much better.
You're right. I did order some bubbly. Okay, so I'm gonna have that on my birthday, which is coming up. But I feel you. Like like Sasha Banks for the Great American Bash was the highlight. Jericho was the highlight for Fyter Fest for me. But that enough is not enough to get it higher than, for me, a 2 out of 5 TNT championship. Say what you want to say about it, Cody, but right now it's an ugly ass title. Okay. I know it's not the finished product. If y'all say, I get it's not the finished product, but I am a belt king. I think I have some authority to know what titles look good, and that title does not. Okay, and neither was Fyter Fest. Matter of fact, Fyter rest because it should have been laid to rest and just been a regular Dynamite, and we might have liked it. At least this guy might have liked it. 2 out of 5 TNT championships. If I was the Lunger Blaze right now and I had a title in my hand, I would just pick up this trash can and just drop them both right in the trash can with those shows. That's what I would do right now. And by the way, that's not a trash can. That's one of my popcorn buckets from the movies that I turned into a trash can for Rogue One. I have like 10 of these things. I don't know what. I said, why you buy these popcorn buckets and throw them in the trash can? I'm like, why did I collect them in the first place? They're popcorn buckets. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck about doing a bucket that cost me $20. I just wanted it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm up here spitting like Batista on my microphone, but this is my COVID-19. Nobody else's. Give me what I want. All right. And they didn't give me what I wanted at all last week there, Chris. Give me your belt grade there, if you will, so to speak.
Well, judging by me doing a brief preview of night 2 and the card that they have lined up.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second. I'm going to get your letter grade. Oh,
it don't get no better.
They have to get better. You got Lost Champion versus Orange Cassidy, and you got Johnny Moxley. So it has to get better.
Yeah, I might pump the brakes on that Moxley match. I don't know if that's actually going to happen
either. I don't think that's going to happen either, but it's still being advertised. So until
I'll go 2 out of 5 hardcore titles, man. I actually liked how Dycez put that last time. You know, I'm like you, Mike. I literally took off because I wanted to watch both these shows simultaneously. And, typically just in my shoot job, I typically work Wednesday nights. I don't get off until 9. So I'll miss like the first hour of one of the shows and I always record AEW and go back and watch it. But I took off because I wanted to watch both matches together and simultaneously. And we actually did a live look-in podcast, Pod is War, because they pumped both of these events up as if they were big deals. And they weren't big deals. They were just shows.
And where can they find that podcast you're referring to, sir?
Debuts every Thursday evening on thechairshot.com and Chairshot Radio Network. Please and thank you, and please. Always.
Use your head.
My man.
Dice, your grade for your AEW.
I'm very disappointed in y'all grades.
You better not get this thing higher than
I think that show was
better not get this
much
thing
better
higher than a 3.
I think that show was much better than what you're giving it credit for. And I'm going to give it 3 tag team championships, AEW tag team championships, because I can't give it that TNT shit. I don't that shit like one of those belts that you first make on SmackDown versus Raw or some shit like
that too. I thought you were gonna say when the belt you bought from when they first came up with like fantasy football belts where they were selling them like, hey, get your fancy football belt right here, right? That's how that damn title looks. But
that's where you order. That's what Cody got is where you order from Shop AEW, but they really got that shit from Wish.com. Oh, when they come in the mail. I bought a Thanos neck gaither, right? And the Thanos mask, it looked like the face was lined up with Thanos. Man, I got the mask and the mask was stretched out. The face, Thanos' chin is sitting on my neck. I can't even wear it. Even wear it. So I'm like, I can't do it. So
that's why I don't shop there, by the way. They don't sponsor this show. But if you did sponsor us, we'll talk about you more better next time. See if you give us money, you'd have had a better shout out than that. All right. So here's to that sponsorship, Wish. Put in my hand. Put in my cup for 15 cents. Okay, but 3 out of 5 is not bad. 3 out of 5 is not bad. I mean, it's not much better than my 2 out of 5. But
I mean, we got what
else is on the card?
What else is on the card for tonight?
Yeah, what's on the card for night 2? What's on for night 2 there?
All right, so we briefly touched on Le Champion, Chris Jericho, which you're gonna love that champagne, by the way. Bit of an aftertaste, but you're gonna enjoy it. It's pretty good. Versus Orange Cassidy, which that might be interesting. Orange can go when he wants to go, and when he's not doing all that goofy shit, he can actually wrestle. And who can have a bad match with Chris Jericho? He's just firing on all cylinders right now. I mean, he's the top guy in the industry right now. We don't know what's going on with Brock. Le Champion got to be the top guy. And like you guys alluded to earlier, it in what 2 months he's become the
top
best
guy. He's
No.
not over Orton right now. Orton's the top.
Oh, he's
guy
also the best, but he's also the best color man on TV.
That's the truth.
Orton's the champion.
Orton right now.
25 years and counting.
I think what Orton did between Mania in your house and what we just see Backlash and the promo work between them. I personally I will put Jericho 2. We're talking about men, not wrestlers, right? So just men,
right?
Yeah. Because 1, I'm putting women 1 and 2. Okay, and then Jericho will be like 4. But no, for me, I love Jericho's work. Taking that from Jericho, we talk about we talk about him. I love Jericho. It's just I like what Orton has done more. That's all. And it's pandemic era. You got to stick out to me a little bit more, But when you tag in Jericho's commentary, I can see where you could push Orton back because his commentary every week is what's pushing the pandemic era of AEW. So I will give you that, and I won't argue that. It's like a push to me then. Plus,
Jericho's been consistently on our television screen since 1996 on various platforms, not just in a wrestling capacity either. He never went to TNA. So. And he never went to TNA, which shout out to him.
I'm just joshing you, but am I? But what we going to card for tonight? Because you looked at the card, you shook your head, you don't seem to be impressed. So we have. I'm going to go with Jericho. I'm going to go with Cassidy winning this match. Orange. He has to. And I always look at things as we talk about all the time. Your legends aren't there to be the show. They're there to be the show. And to be the show, like Jay-Z said, I'm a businessman. Hear that? That's Jericho. He's a businessman, and he knows what's best for business. Jericho's always had a great mind for wrestling. They know Orange is hot. Even if Orange doesn't win, which I think he should win, he will go over on Jericho eventually. So I'm going to think he goes over now, and I'm going to go Orange Cassidy in this one. How you got this match going? It's nothing against Jericho.
Apparently, I went to Google the card, and literally the first 3 things are it's already been leaked out of what happened.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Why you watching shit? I mean, why you reading shit?
I'm not reading. I didn't click anything. I just wanted to see the card for myself. But if I click the card, I'm going to see the spoilers. So disregard.
I had to Google non-spoilers to find the card. You know, the best thing to do is just go to AEW's website. That's
That's all I ever did.
Because I saw that too. And then I said, "What?"
I just go, I don't know. I don't. I don't like looking at anything pre-wrestling. I never forget WrestleMania 28. We're walking in. Everybody knows WrestleMania 28, right? That's where the birth of the Yes chant came. Yes. Okay. And we had heard walking in that Brock got signed and would be at Raw that Monday, and people were legitimately fucking pissed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to know that kind of stuff. Like, so I hate being. I love the internet for all it gives me. It gives us what we're doing right now, right? It gives. Then it's great, but it's also a fucking piece of shit. Okay, and I hate spoilers. People, you're a piece of shit for getting out a spoiler. Those who gave out spoilers for Avengers Endgames, you're a dick. Those who gave out spoilers for Star Wars, you're a dick. Those who give out spoilers for wrestling, you're a dick. For those who read it, hey, more power to you. And you probably love these people. I personally think they're dicks for putting it out there. That's just me. But what else is on the card there, Chris? But you didn't give your match winner. Right. You didn't give me our winners though. I said Cassidy. Who you got? Real quick. Let's get through this.
I'm gonna say Cassidy, man. They seem to be really high on him. So, yeah. Okay. So Jericho's going to do the favors. I just wish he would have treated Pineapple Pete a little bit better. But that's neither here nor there. Moving right along.
So, do y'all see? All right, so you're looking at spoilers. Just have to ask this question since you're looking at them and not taking them. We're live right now. Okay. As you can tell, we're just doing this shit. Bam! Does Moxley match happen? I don't want to know the winner, but did the match happen? And I guess in that point, you couldn't give your review because we don't know. But,
Well, I'm literally looking on the AEW website at
and what do they have it at? That card's not
listed.
It's not listed.
That match is not listed.
Okay, all right, sir. So then, what else is on Firefest?
There's still some quality content on here. I don't see how you're not impressed.
Well, okay, SoCal Uncensored versus the Dark Order.
That match is all about Colt Cabana. That match it has nothing to do with anybody else in there but Colt Cabana and Brody Lee. And I think that Brody Lee has one of the most intriguing storylines in AEW, so I'm really interested in that match.
Kevin Sullivan 2.0. I do dig it. I've always liked Brody Lee. I'm not high on Colt Cabana. Never have. Never will be. I never understood the fascination that the indie darlings have with him. That's just me. What next we got on the card?
Dice, this must be the match you were talking about that was going to steal the show that you were excited about, Fyter Fest Night 2.
Uh-oh.
Joey Janela versus Lance Archer.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't care for either one of these wrestlers.
Hey,
I mean, Lance Archer's got a nice.
Bring the program. What's up, Lance?
He's got a good thing going. I mean, it's cool, but the best thing about Lance Archer, Jake the Snake.
Absolutely. Right.
Jake the Snake is doing some of the best heel mic work that we've seen in a legend who's way outside of wrestling in a really long time.
Very long time.
That's what makes Lance Archer so, I guess, impressive wrestling back in the States. But other than that, like I don't
if he was 20 years younger is all. It's one of those things with Lance Archer. It's like how I felt about the whole Jeff Hardy thing. It's like, come on, what at this stage in your career, I'm not supposed to believe you're getting over anymore.
Maybe he stayed away too long. He was in Japan way too long.
Way too long in Japan. He made a name for himself, and I'm happy he's here back in the States in AEW. But you're just a giant they're going to use to get over on it, and that's cool. You know what I mean? But I think he beats people's ass, and I like that about him. What we got next in the card there, Chris?
Last but certainly not least, this actually might be a really fun match, which is the 8-man tag. So we've got FTR, formerly the Revival, and the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers, who I love, and Butcher and Blade, who have a really cool look. Hey, that might be the best match that we see.
Is the Bastard hurt?
Pat? I don't know what's up with him. He might be stuck overseas, man, because of the whole COVID thing.
Okay, because I'm not seeing him after they made that stable. It's just killing me. But you're right. That match can steal the show. That match should steal the show, in my opinion. And I'm excited about that 8-man tag team. So, honestly, both cards on this night, which are just glorified event name for a television match, should have good 2 matches, which is a good, that's good. That's good. If they can deliver with that, I'm being honest. I will next week have a better grade for them. But as of right now, that grade is ass.
It's got to be more. 4 matches in 2 hours. It's got to be something.
That's what they have right now. I'm literally on the AEW website. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think they are going to add some more shit on. But yeah, as of right now, those are the matches that they have listed.
All right, fellas. So I want to take this a little bit outside. All right. Now, y'all know being a part of BDSIR Network, you come into the barbershop where Barbershop Talk meets radio. That's the network you're tuned into. But when you're around the blocks with Mike Knoxxx, damn it, it's the summertime. And most of us, I did, celebrate Juneteenth. Some of you celebrate the 4th of July. Either way, it's time to bring you to the block party. And by bringing you to the block party, we're going to give you things just to talk about at the block party. Like some people bring potato salad. Everybody knows Aunt Kim, no one's eating their food, but every holiday nobody wants to be rude. That's okay. You can be rude here at this block party. That's not mine. That's Nietzsche's. Okay, but I got 8 of the greatest superstars in wrestling history. We got The Undertaker. We got the Macho Man, Randy Savage. We got Stone Cold Steve Austin. Woo! Ric Flair, the most electrifying man in all of entertainment. Can't wait to release Sacramento. I shared that last night too. Thought that was funny. The Rock, my favorite of all time, HBK. My number 1.1 favorite of all time, Bret the Hitman Hart. And arguably the greatest wrestler of all time in the square circle, Kurt Angle. You got 8 superstars there, guys. I go, you go, you go, I go. You go, you go, I go. That's how we're going to go here in this block party. I'm going to start off right here. And this is how I would book this block party card for me. In my opening in this card, I would have Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. That would be how you open up WrestleMania 10 when you had Bret and Owen. When you open up any card that give you Jericho and Chris Benoit, you cannot miss in this match in any way. And I'm going to open my card with Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. Then I'm going to go to my second match on this card, which would give me The Rock versus Ric Flair in their primes. Ric Flair versus The Rock would have been some of the greatest promos we've seen since Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes, since CM Punk and anybody that he went against, pretty much. Right? So I'm going Rock and Ric Flair. So those are my first 2 matches I'm going to start with right there. You know, I'm going to go all the way. And then my next match, because it ain't my main event in this thing. My main event, I'll tell you next after I tell you this. I'm going to go Stone Cold versus The Undertaker. I know we've seen it. But we haven't seen it. We've seen American Badass in Stone Cold. We've seen Stone Cold with the Ministry of Darkness, Undertaker, but Undertaker, in which I'm looking at Taker, his prime was WrestleMania 25, 26, 27. Those matches he put on, 28, tailing off, they were tremendous. Him versus Shawn Michaels proved that Taker still had it. Give me WrestleMania 17 Stone Cold versus that Undertaker, and that's my co-main event. That could lock down anything. But in my main event, I'm going to go Macho Man, Randy Savage versus Shawn Michaels for the Wing Eagle Championship on my block party. So my block party goes opening up with Bret versus Kurt Angle. Then we're going Rock versus Flair. Stone Cold versus Undertaker. And in my main event, Shawn Michaels versus, I'm a savage, Randy Savage. To me, the greatest tic-tac of all time. But I think right there, opening up and closing with two of the best wrestlers of all time, and Shawn and Bret, is just impressive. I don't think y'all can beat how I just put that match together, Chris. Go ahead. What you bringing to the block party?
That's the fire card. So your opening match, I'm going to agree with you. Bret the Hitman Hart versus Kurt Angle. I mean, that's a layup, right? But I'm going to add a twist to it.
Could be
I'm going to add a twist.
How old you got? You're going to trump me with the match types.
A submission match. And that quite possibly might be the greatest wrestling match that ever happened.
That may be
Bret
a draw.
Versus Kurt.
That may be a draw. That may be they both pass out from my ankle lock at the same damn time. I like it. I didn't put my match stipulations on. You got me. Ooh, you some bitch. In that case, they just make The Rock versus Ric Flair a microphone and a pole match because the winner gets to talk smack out the other guy. All right, give me a microphone on a pole match. And Taker and Stone Cold, I want them in a Hell in a Cell.
Now, match order, this is when it gets a little wonky, but, my biases are also going to start to come in here
my biases
well.
didn't come in there? I put my favorite and my second favorite in the beginning and the end.
Touche. I'm going to go next. Give me 2008 Undertaker versus 89 Ric Flair. That's the year he had the trilogy with Steamboat. Yeah. That's the year him and Terry Funk had that fire ass I Quit match. If y'all remember at the Clash of Champions.
What match?
Yeah, give me those two guys.
In an NWA cage match?
In an NWA cage match, which is just basically a Hell in a Cell. They just didn't call it that back then. But yes.
No roof. They ain't had no roof.
No, they had no roof. The roof was the
cage.
ceiling.
The cage was still the same though. Yeah, I like that. Next match.
Yeah. All right, next match, we got to go Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Macho Man Randy Savage. No stipulation. Just let two of the greatest of all time go out there and tear it up. You don't need no stipulation. You got Mach and Stone Cold. Last but not least, again, this is where the bias comes in. These two guys are literally my two favorites of all time. Of all time! They're my 1 and 1A. The Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus the jabroni beaten, pie eating.
Hey, baby, you got the people's strudel, please. Leave the people's strudel alone.
Versus The Rock. I mean, number one, both of them are in the smack talk going back and forth would be fantastic. Shawn Michaels, it's impossible for him to have a bad match. The Rock is a very underrated wrestler as well. Plus, we know that there's some legitimate friction and heat between the two, which is why we never got this program to begin with. And yeah, this is my wrestling wet dream.
If you listen to the first wrestler to ever have his own podcast, Ameican Johnson, which was brought to you by BDSIR Network, Chic Pop, but it's not. Y'all see the podcast on every station down below here. He said they had friction. Go back and watch that episode. You'll know why. Dice, what you bring to the block party, baby?
Man, y'all done took all the ideas and everything.
I still think that my idea of a microphone and a pole match wins out.
I'm sitting here trying to finagle anything I can, Skip. I can't do it. But I'm going to start at the top of the card. I'm going to go backwards. I'm definitely going with the match that we never got to see in Rock and HBK as my main event. I want that in a steel cage. I want that in a steel cage. Next, because I watched Table for Three, and Kurt was on with Sting and Flair, and he said he wished that he could have worked with Flair. and Flair was talking big shit. So I want that as my co-main event. I want Flair versus Kurt Angle in a submission match, and
Leg lock versus ankle lock.
Yeah. And then next, I want to throw. I need a classic. I need the classic. So I want Bret versus Macho Man. I want that.
Seen it, but never in their primes.
Yeah.
Never in their primes.
So, and then I want the classic Stone Cold and Undertaker, because I do believe that if we would have got Stone Cold for when did he leave? 02, 01, 02, something like that. And Taker, those WrestleManias were from
they missed
like
each other
06. Yeah, there was like 06 to 2010 or something like that. Those constant years. Yeah, that Taker that was burning it down with Batista, Edge, Cena, Mark Henry, like that Taker. Yeah, I want that Taker versus Stone Cold. From Stone Cold, yeah, what was that? 17, his last match versus The Rock.
Yeah,
I should 19. Know that. That's like one of my favorite matches.
19 was his last 19. Match.
Okay, yeah. I want that Stone Cold. I want that Stone Cold. So yeah, that completes my card. No stipulation other than
you have the Rock somewhere. Match. You have the Rock versus. You have the Rock versus. You got Rock versus.
No,
Macho
I went
Man.
top to bottom. I went top to bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rock versus Michaels. We need that.
Okay. I like that. So the reason why I wanted to bring that block party to you guys, reason why I brought it to you guys in that way, for those who are out there listening, thank you again for tuning in. You can find this show on YouTube, on Facebook. Like I said, all your podcasts, where podcasts are sold, which are absolutely free, is because for about a month or so, this has plagued me. For more than a month, we were supposed to talk about this segment. But this has bothered me for quite some time. And it's came to me because I saw a tweet that mentioned how the Attitude Era was bad for wrestling. And I debated it, and I thought about it. As great as the Attitude Era was, I think it ruined wrestling as we know it today. And here's why. Not more than what you would normally think I would say. Because my first reaction was because everything in the Attitude Era was a ripoff of something else, to be honest with you. It came from the WCW. It came from ECW. It came from something we saw on television. My problem with the Attitude Era is that it built in a false impression to fans that everybody was a superstar. And it took what was the basis of professional wrestling, which is the art of storytelling. I always say wrestling is storyline because that's what professional wrestling is. Any wrestler you would ever talk to, you would ever interview, that knows anything, that's been credible, that has done anything in this business will tell you the storyline and how they wrestled someone. And by bringing in this false expectation that everyone's a star and everyone has a story, it made wrestlers, fans go, I like the Job Squad. The Job Squad should just have been who they were. That's why they came up with the name. They were jobbers, right? They should have never started winning. This all kind of happened when fans wanted to see Barry Horowitz finally get a win. The Brooklyn Brawler finally get a win. And that worked for those guys. They were notorious losers. So them getting a win was like, hey, when you saw 1, 2, 3 Kid beat Bret Hart, that meant something. Because the 1, 2, 3 Kid was always losing. Well, he didn't beat Bret, but he went hard. It was like how Undertaker did for Jeff Hardy. You finally looked at Jeff Hardy and said, damn, this kid can go. But in Jeff's case, Jeff was still winning. He was Jeff Hardy. 1, 2, 3 Kid wasn't winning. 1, 2, 3 Kid was 1, 2, 3 Kid because he was lucky and got a 1, 2, 3 victory over Scott Hall. But other than that, he lost all the time. He was this scrawny little kid who couldn't beat nobody, kind of like Adam Cole. Baby should not beat Keith Lee on this week's Great American Bash Part 2. But I do think because of that, guys, that it ruined wrestling. Because now fans have this entitlement to, I like that guy, you show me that guy could be a champion. You show me that girl should be a champion. You give me that tag team should be this. And I'm not blaming. And listen, this is the company fucks up. We can always blame the company. They're just every time you say anything wrong with anything, just say company, right? Because they're the ones who either do it or they don't do it. All right. Case in point, going forward, when you look at what was the guys that were, I forget their name. That's how they came and went, but they were the shit in NXT as a tag team. I can't get their names right now.
Ascension?
The Ascension. The Ascension was supposed to be the end all to be all. They brought them up, and all this company did was add face paint to them. A little face paint. And fans lost their shits. Oh, they're trying to be the Wall Warriors. Lost instantly. Right? So that's what you gave us, WWE. But if fans would just understand to get back what we always loved, the Attitude Era had to go. It has to go. That whole mentality that it's the greatest era in wrestling, it's not the greatest era in wrestling. The Ruthless Aggression era was the greatest era in wrestling. And before that, it still wasn't. It's still an Attitude Era. It was the golden 80s. Okay? What made Ruthless Aggression so great is that those guys who actually became stars in the Attitude Era had other stars that were stars, and you had such a plethora, a smorgasbord, you thought I was going to get away with not again on this show, of talent that it could be great. Where everything you got was great. Everything in Ruthless Aggression era, match per match per match per match, 90% were great matches, great talent versus great talent. In the Attitude Era, it was not.
Which era do you think produced the most Hall of Famers?
I would say, unfortunately, I mean, all right, loaded question, little bit, because they participated in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression era. But that time in history, and no, I can't even say that, to be honest. It would be the golden 80s because some of them motherfuckers are still going. Right? You look at the 80s and who the 80s into the 90s brought. Right? 80s and 90s, that golden era of wrestling, right? That, let's say 85 to 95.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Gave you more Hall of Famers and legends than any era that has. Now, did they produce the greatest of all time? They did in that reference. When you look at Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Macho Man. Moving forward, Undertaker started then, right? So, but moving forward, yeah, Stone Cold started then. You got Rock, you got Shawn Michaels, you got Angle, right? You got, yes, your current guys, your Ortons, your Jerichos, those guys. But if you go back, I would think not by much dice to answer the question, not even by a nose, but by like a length. And we're talking horse racing here. I would give it to the golden era that has more legends and Hall of Famers. But again, still, with that being pointed out, all the Attitude Era gave us was a lot of noise. And it broke the foundations of wrestling. It destroyed the mindset of wrestling fans where it was about good guy versus bad guy. And I get we're in a whole different world now. I get it. We are so far past that. But are we? And guys, you hear me more often because we talk pretty much every day. You cannot sit here, fans, and I'm talking to my fans now. I don't see you going to the movie rooting for Lex Luthor. I don't see you other than occasional people, okay? Because like he's here on the show that says, yeah, let's go Thanos. No, he's supposed to lose, right? Nobody wants to see Cap not win. Nobody wants to see Batman not win. You want Soup to win. Yeah, these guys are cool. The Joker's cool. The Riddler's cool. But no one's cheering for Bane. So how can you cheer for Bray Wyatt's supposed to be a bad guy that got cheered so much they had to make him a face? The company fucks up. Again, I put them on the top of the list of fucking things up. But wrestling fans, it's up to us. We have controlled the narrative for the last 5 years. I've been at Manias. Y'all will boo. Why pay all this money to go boo? Hell, it's your money. Who am I to say? But I'm not wasting my money to go have my throat hurt because I'm booing something that I don't like. That's the wrong message. If I don't like something, I'm not going. Okay? So obviously you still care because people can say, oh, they didn't sell out Mania. I'm sorry. There may have been 50 seats left and 70,000 people. No company's doing that. So stop all that bullshit about Mania ain't selling out. Okay? Because your company that you love or whatever company you want to name, other than New Japan Pro Wrestling, because there's a whole bunch of them motherfuckers over there, is going to fill an arena like this. No other company will. So we got to get out of the mind state, fans, that the Attitude Era was the greatest thing that ever happened in wrestling because it ruined wrestling. Yes, it produced a lot of stars. Yes, it was fun and entertainment. I'm not knocking that. I loved it. I loved it. But in the long stretch of things, when you're looking forward, you're moving forward in the longevity of things, it kind of killed the business, in my opinion. And when you talk about Attitude Era, you gotta include the ECW, because they were, they pretty much gave them the kick in the ass how to be the Attitude Era, right? They pushed. And I bet people get mad at me all the time. I might lose some of you getting here right now. And like I always say, don't like it, listen anyway. You may not like Mike Knoxxx, but I got Chris Platt here. You may not like Chris Platt, but every once in a while, Dycez is going to jump on here, okay? This is the show for the television and follow me here. Not taking nothing from talent, not taking nothing from people's hard work. But ECW had a lot of crappy wrestling in it. Point blank, period, end of question. What you would see in a polished organization, the guys that went out there in ECW didn't put on those kind of matches. I'm not talking about the ones that did, okay? Yes, you would get a shock and say, oh, shit, Mikey Whipwreck can really go, right? Tommy Dreamer, I love the guy. He's a hardcore icon. But when you first saw him in a wrestling ring, he was not very good. You fell in love with him because he got his ass beat. When did wrestling become about the guy? What made wrestling was when we were kids, like he said, we got bought in. You saw these larger-than-life characters. My son liking the Big Show because he's a larger-than-life character. My daughter liking Naomi because she's a larger-than-life girl that she doesn't see every day. When I could start looking at wrestlers on TV and go, oh, shit, I saw him at Publix. Oh, my God. I swore I saw that girl right there at the 7-Eleven last week. How they stars to me then? That's just me. Because when wrestling is a suspension of belief. The same way it is when I watch TV shows and movies and comic book movies, whatever it is that I watch that's not real. So when you try to start making it be 100% real and not storyline driven with real action, you take away from the product, Chris. And that's my longest rant I think I've been in a long time. But I do think that's why the Attitude Era has killed wrestling, because fans have lost grip on what was wrestling, Chris.
So let me say this. Fair enough. So let me say this. I thoroughly enjoyed the Attitude Era. I think in all of my fandom, it was the most fun that I ever had as a wrestling fan. I mean, wrestling was so mainstream. I would go to girls' houses to watch wrestling on Monday nights. Mm-hmm. Girls, guys, girls. And, that I was a young man. I was in my prime. Like, that was just the coolest thing ever. You go out, you see Austin. Yeah, you see NWO shirts, Austin 316 shirts. You smell what The Rock is cooking. Like, it was so. I don't want to say it was so inundated within the pop culture lexicon, because wrestling go back to the 60s and the 50s and the 40s. Wrestling was always there. Like, wrestling was there when TV first got popping off. It was one of the first things that was on television, which is what makes me laugh when people try to make fun of wrestling, when literally everything you watch on television has wrestling in its DNA, because it was literally there at its inception. Right. Yeah, everything. Yeah. Now, the thing with the Attitude Era, they burned through probably about 20 years worth of storylines. You got the fans accustomed to seeing pay-per-view caliber matches every single day. Mm-hmm. Now, how that's reverberated to now, there's no such thing as a dream match anymore, because you've seen everything 50-11 times. Like, what is a possible dream match out there that actually has that type of cachet that you could actually make some money off of, because we haven't seen it? That's about it. And Sting is 78 years old, and y'all still
AJ Styles. Got to be somebody old versus somebody that's semi-old.
And Sting is 856 years old with no spine, and y'all still clanging for that match. And Taker,
well, he said he got one more left in him.
They always do. Hulk Hogan got 2 fake hips, 2 fake knees, and no back, but I got one more in me, brother. That's just how it is. That's what this is. But yeah, they ran through a lot of storylines. They ran through all the special matches. They played so much hot potato with the titles that the titles also became meaningless, because we talked about this last week, Mike. Theoretically, you should be able to headline any wrestling show with any title, just like they do in boxing. You got your heavyweight title, your welterweight title, whatever. We go all the way down the list. You should be able to any show. Yeah, that's why I got done, because I'm not naming on them titles. Fuck all that. But yeah, so I think the Attitude Era, ultimately, it was a bad thing for wrestling, but it wasn't the ultimate death blow. It was a perfect storm. So then, they did a lot of hot shotting in that era. That certainly didn't help. When WCW left, there was a fraction of the wrestling audience that were just strictly WCW fans. And when they left, they never came back. Right. They just left. They didn't come back. He Who Shall Not Be Named, when that whole incident happened, I think that chased off a lot of people as well. and their inability to now create new stars because they made that decision somewhere along the line. They didn't want to deal with a Rock or a Stone Cold, somebody that had leverage. And John Cena became you talked about the ruthless aggression era. He was the ultimate company guy. And I'm not saying that necessarily as a knock. There's some good that came from that. There's some bad that came from that. But it is what it is. He was the ultimate company guy. So they got away from dealing with those top guys because probably,
probably the last superstar that company will ever have, to be honest. It'd be John Cena.
Yeah.
They want to push Roman there, but fans won't let it. So John Cena probably the last real male superstar. Because I think Becky became that. I don't know how, for what it's worth. Not going back. I don't know how it happened. It just. I don't. All right, move on.
No, but
I think I put my foot in my mouth a little bit. I just started laughing. I don't know how it happened.
Just real quick, Dice, before I get to you, brother. Mike, you actually brought up my last part of why wrestling isn't what it is and what ruined wrestling. The fact that Roman Reigns can't get over. Well, then that brings us to the dirt sheets. These people that have never even stepped into a wrestling ring or probably never even had a fight in real life, all of a sudden, because they had access to all these websites out here, they thought they knew more about the business than they actually did. And, you got these stooges that are feeding all these information to people. So then they start to say things like, this is why the media is so dangerous, because it frames the narrative. So you got guys out here, feeding these dirt sheet writers information and for favors. So all of a sudden you write up a column about how underrated Terry Taylor is. And then the audience, they're sheep. They go, oh yeah, Terry Taylor, he was a fantastic in-ring worker. And then you got this guy, it gets to the point where you, but you get a guy like Roman Reigns who looks like a god. This man looks like a god. He's handsome. He's a great wrestler. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Takes an ass kicking like on Bret Hart level proportions, because nobody took an ass kicking like Bret Hart. Takes an ass kicking. Checks every single box what you want a superstar to be, but they won't let it be because he's not the goat fake killer. Yeah. He's not goat face killer. Yes, aka Daniel Bryan. No disrespect. But so I think all those factors factored into where we are in the business and why less people are watching wrestling than have ever watched wrestling in the history of wrestling.
So you don't just blame the Attitude Era. You blame the series of events that happened from the Attitude Era, which again puts it back on me saying it all can start with the company because they built this fake narrative of, everybody can be a superstar. And I think that's where I was initially saying is that you need jobbers in wrestling. You need to have guys that Lance Archer can just beat the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? You need to have guys that Cody can make a star. Whatever that guy name was, he had no job. He had $3.76 in his bank account, and we gave him an opportunity for a job now. You know what I'm saying? Now he had AEW contract money. That kind of
stuff.
Shout out
to Ricky Starks. He was doing good work on NWA Power, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Which another show we don't talk about, but I think it's a good, wrestling company that's out there, NWA Power, by the way. Dice, your take on that Attitude Era thing. Because like I said, I'm not sure, and I like where we're going with it. It's the narrative that Attitude Era painted is, I think, what we're getting to. Do you agree or disagree with that? And take your own take on it as well.
The reason why everybody clamors for Attitude Era is week after week after week, it was surprise element. It was a surprise factor. Every week, you didn't know what you were going to see. Like, you didn't know. You knew Stone Cold was there. You knew Vince McMahon was supposed to be there. Right. And you was clamoring for Stone Cold to fuck his ass up every time on site. Because Stone Cold was the disgruntled, blue-collar general American who hated his boss, and he had the opportunity to kick the living shit out of his boss every time and not get fired. And that's what the general population loved about that character. And going on with earlier, you said nobody goes to the movie theater to root for the bad guy, right? But how many people left Infinity War and was like, yes? Not many of them was like me. I'm like, yeah. Even though I was on Thanos' side, the way he shut everything down and he snapped his finger and everybody disappeared and the movie goes, boom, get the hell out the theater. Everybody's jaw dropped.
But it also
When's
makes you
the
come
last
back
time
to. But
your
the
jaw
purpose of,
dropped during wrestling.
But the purpose, I love that scenario, by the way. And that's exactly how you build a star, because you build a heel that's believable enough that you want to have. You can love him, but he got to lose because he's too diabolical. You get what I'm saying? Like that's, I love how you painted that, and that's what wrestling's missing also. But I think that they've tried to build that. And not just WWE, I'm talking about wrestling in general. I think wrestling itself has tried to build this super heel. But fans just, in wrestling, which I said I don't get. Like, I'm watching Cobra. Oh, Cobra. I'm watching G.I. Joe. For those who don't know, G.I. Joe has a 24-hour channel on YouTube. And I just watch it when there's nothing else on TV, right? And I'm sitting there saying, like, to me, I think G.I. Joe now might be the greatest cartoon ever made, right? The names, the 80s, everything the 80s represented was G.I. Joe. And I'm watching how dope Cobra is. I'm not cheering for him, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had all, like the Decepticons. They have all the dope shit, right? But you're still rooting for Optimus Prime. You're still, go ahead, Dice. Finish your scenario there.
It's the equivalent of some of the greatest heels that we've seen in the business, and the older that you get, and the psychology of wrestling starts to matter more than the actual realism as a kid. You know, like I'm more excited about the story that, you know, Hogan and Sting are telling in the ring. Even though I'm a Sting guy through and through, I just love the psychology of the heel. The heel is much harder to play. In my opinion, it's much harder to make somebody hate you on a constant basis.
Yes.
That's
what makes Corbin so good. Sorry.
And think about how when the NWO started, when it was Nash, Hall, and Hogan, everybody booed them. Everybody booed him week after week.
You loved it, but hated it at the same time.
You hated it. But after a while,
I guess, like with Thanos. They were my WWE guys coming over, so I kind of was like, yeah, let's go. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? But I get what you're still saying. That he said a big part of WCW fans left when WCW left. So that was, who the hell are you to come over here and do this?
Yeah.
Keep going. You're speaking knowledge right now, my brother.
But the problem is they made it cool to be rebellious, right? And that's when your heel turn now becomes your baby face. And WCW tried in their defense to kind of make us realize that these guys are the heels, but it was way too late. Like you tried the dissension within, you know, the NWO.
What's that? Come on, y'all know that. What's that? Come on.
What is that?
That's Rey Mysterio getting thrown to the goddamn side of the damn finish like a dog.
Oh, I thought you was doing the Scott Hall, this thing.
You didn't have enough hook on it. That's what
I didn't have no hook. I had to like this. Like it's above me. Yo, listen. They did. They tried to make everything about them, try to make you hate them. And you still love
them. Then they did the red and black, who was supposed to be the cooler, hipper. They had the better theme music.
Yeah, the newer guys, the WCW guys, the better talent. So again, the company's narrated all of this. Again, some of that still relies on us, the fans, Dice, I think. Like, to know, I guess you can't help what you like. I guess
what's the last finger snap moment that you actually believe, like, I can't believe that match turned that way? The last time for me, personally, was the Undertaker getting dominated by Brock Lesnar. And remember, we watched that match together, and even the ref, when he counted to 3, I said he wasn't supposed to hit 3. Like, the ref looked like he didn't know the outcome of the match, and he thought that he wasn't supposed to count to 3, and Taker was going to kick up.
Because it's Taker at WrestleMania,
Yeah, that's the last time that I felt like,
and we still don't know if that was supposed to happen or not happen.
Yeah, we don't know. But I just go back and watch it, and I'm looking, and I'm looking at the ref's body language, and I'm looking at Paul Heyman's body language, because Paul Heyman's like, he's shocked at first, and then he snaps back into character, and he's like, "You did it." Yeah. So was he really supposed to do it or not? But that's the last time that I felt like
I would say that
Taker to win.
I would still add the CM Punk for me, but again, he was light, so I get you looking heel.
In what match?
Right, him when he took the belt, we thought he was out of the company, and he took the belt and left.
Oh, okay.
But again, but that changes the narrative. We're talking about heel face. Brock was hated in that match. You may have had some Brock fans, like even myself was a Brock guy more than a Taker guy, but he wasn't supposed to win. You know what I'm saying? Still Taker. You know what I'm saying? If anybody was supposed to be Taker, it definitely was supposed to be Brock Lesnar.
Well, Punk was the heel too, but he was the cool heel.
But he was the cool heel. Right. Brock was hated. Motherfuckers hated Brock. You left, you came back, and you still got a hot wife. Damn. My life sucks. I'm just fat with no woman. Just lotion. Not even Jernikins. I got the cheap shit to give you now because they're all out of hand sanitizer. You ever try to rub your dick with hand sanitizer?
That sounds like a horrible night. That sounds like a horrible night.
You gotta keep spitting on that thing. I'm just let me stop like y'all act like, oh, Mike Knoxxx know that shit. No, Mike Knoxxx don't know that shit because Mike Knoxxx. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't know it because every man should take a jerk every once in a while. I'm not saying that. Just saying I gets mine. Okay, I know everybody on this program is getting theirs. But go back to
that. Don't do it with hand sanitizer.
No, definitely don't do it with hand sanitizer.
In closing,
go ahead.
I think that for us to say the Attitude Era was the greatest, I think that on the WWE Network you have where you can literally go back and watch every single episode weekly. Yeah, and I've tried this before. Watch every Raw. You can't. It's too much. It's too much. But if somebody could do that at the start of the era for however many weeks it was, if you started at the beginning of the Attitude Era and to the beginning of the Get the F Out stage, right? And then watch that Ruthless Aggression era and mean to tell me the Attitude Era had more stars better than the Ruthless Aggression era? I don't see it. The only thing that gives us the...
Yeah, 3 that came over, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Can we count them? We got Stone Cold, we got The Rock, we got Triple H, we got Taker, and we got the New Age Outlaws. Am I missing it?
Kurt Angle?
Kurt Angle, yeah, he came and left.
Mick Foley.
See me, I put Kurt more with Ruthless Aggression.
Yeah, okay.
For me, for Kurt. I know he started there, and he was doing his thing there, and I love that match with him and Shane. I mean, he's one of my favorite matches of all time at King of the Ring, but I think he was better, champion, legend, superstar after the Attitude Era. So
there were a lot of mistakes made in the Attitude Era that ruined the business.
Yes.
But they got overlooked a lot. And you know, because you had Stone Cold Steve Austin and you had The Rock, which are arguably the GOATs.
Yeah.
So a lot of the bullshit and the mistakes that they made, you were able to gloss over because you had those two pillars.
So big.
And then also, and not to mention everybody else that they had, all the ancillary characters too that could be pushed up into the main event.
So stupid. Well, then I think we've all said this, that's a stupid motto to take, that we're going to make the E bigger than the he or the she, right? Because the he or the she is what made you get over. I hate them today, but Vacant got you over. Okay? Taker got you over. Flair what made it. Dusty is what made it. The company's just the name behind them. But those guys are the guys. And those are the guys that you talked about, Dice. Ask me, who are legends? Who are Hall of Famers? Right? Think now, you have to say, I had to say Adam Cole, right? When it came to NXT. I just look at it because 400 days, he's got to be the greatest NXT champion. Right? But when I think of NXT, I don't think of Adam Cole first. I think of guys like Roman. That was FEW, but I still would think about guys like Finn and Kevin Owens before I think about Adam Cole. I still think about Sasha and Bayley before I think about Adam Cole and Paige, before I think about Adam Cole, although he's the greatest NXT champion of all time. That's the difference.
Maybe we don't. Who's the perfect yin to his yang for match wise? Like everybody you just named, they had, a classic that you can never forget. Who's Adam Cole's?
I think you can name a few. All right. I think Gargano and him had a very good clash. Yeah. I love that clash with him. I think it could have been Dream Over. We'll never know. Yeah. But I would say Gargano and probably only Gargano. And I think he has been the winner of circumstance based upon guys being called up and guys being injured and just having to be that constant guy. Something like just to throw it into a comparison so people can understand, like Jericho, taking nothing from Chris Jericho, right place, right time. And it helped the fuck out of his career. There's something that no one could ever say. It doesn't matter because in wrestling worlds, it doesn't matter how it got there. It's about that it happened.
Right.
Okay. He's the first. He beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. And forever can put that, no matter what, he will be 70 years old, getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and it will say, here lies a man who beat The Rock and Stone Cold on the same night, the two biggest stars to come out of the Attitude Era. Well, you got 5 or 6 stars that made the Attitude Era. You got 20 that probably made Ruthless Aggression. You got to throw in the Dudleys, the Hardy Boys, and Edge and Christian. That alone just named 6. Okay, you name the angles in it. But overall, guys, I want to thank you guys for being a part of this show today. This has been a very long show. I appreciate it. We got into a lot of things I wanted to discuss. The AEW and NXT. Please don't let us down again. Don't let us down next week. Okay, we supposed to be a wrestling review show, and you turned this into a damn Fallout podcast. Why? Because your product was ass. All right. With that being said, that is Chris Platt. That is Dice Man Holla. I am Mike Knoxxx. And Dice, where can they find you at, my man, before we get out of here?
Oh, you can find me on the Twitter at Dice Streets. That's DYCEZSTREETZ. And also, I am a new brand ambassador for Habits 365. Go to habits365.com. Get whatever you need. Type in the promo code DJ1 and get 10% off your order. Then your next order will be 30% off if you keep using my code.
Boom. And all that's right below his name anyway. You can see it right down the screen the whole time that it has at Dice Man. But Chris Platt, where can they find you at also, my friend?
Hey, I'm on Twitter at The Real C Platt. Check out debuting tomorrow, every Tuesday on thechairshot.com. 3-Man Weave, myself, the Commissioner PC Tunney, and Ray Cash talking about sports. I'm also
it should have been called the Fatal 4-Way, but they ain't want Mike Knoxxx on there, but I ain't gonna play
there you go. He always be trying to bust me out on here and like he don't know he got an open invitation. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Just talking smack.
You guys can also find me on Pod is War, which debuts every Thursday on the Chairshot Radio Network as well. It's myself, Andrew Blast, my running mate, Platt Blast 2020. We go back and forth about the 5 hottest topics in the world of professional wrestling, and it's moderated by Mr. Moderator, the Commissioner PC Tunney. Again, that debuts every Thursdays on thechairshot.com. Also, make sure you guys go to prowrestlingtees.com/thechairshot and pick up an official Chairshot t-shirt. Please and thank you, and please.
And as always, y'all know to get me at Belt Kings episode 10 tomorrow. Myself and nephew Corey, my kicks are my fix, are bringing to you the fastest rising, best podcast out there right now. Frankly, I don't know why I'm saying that. I do because I'm on it, but not just I'm on it. I just think the show is really that damn good. If you're a collector of wrestling titles and you like wrestling history, we don't talk about the shows. We talk about nothing but the titles and the champions that had them, and that's what makes that show great to me. It's like Drink Champs meets wrestling titles, in my opinion. I like that. Except for he don't drink, but I do. But we got titles. But with that being said, guys, do not wake up tomorrow morning and say to yourself, "I love me some me." And don't love God. And don't know that Charlotte Flair is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. We out of here, y'all.